Sports.
We are Black Hawks. We are the Lions.
Fox Sports.
We are Black Hawks. We are the Lions.
Today in Cincinnati and all over the greatest country in the world, we remember September 11th in 2001 and what happened in the United States of America, and we indeed shall never forget. We welcome you to Great American Ballpark. You just heard the national anthem on this September 11th, 2012. It's game 2 of this 3-game series between the Pirates and the Reds. And hi again, everybody, alongside Chris Welsh, I'm Tom Brenneman, welcoming you as always to Reds baseball. And what a long night last night, Chris, but they came out on top in 14 innings.
We had a figure time after Alfredo Simon wiggled his way out of a bases loaded, nobody out jam, that somebody in the bottom of the inning was going to step up and win the ball game. And as it turned out, it was Ryan Ludwig. A shot in the hole, diving stab by the shortstop, but he couldn't get the handle on it, and that was the winner. And there was Ryan Ludwig. The quote after the game, I loved it. He said, "Hey, I felt just like Bo Jackson."
Yes,
and I put my hands up in the air like I just won the 200-meter sprint, like Usain Bolt in the Olympics. And there it was, mobbed by teammates. That was a long-awaited victory, but certainly one that the Reds came home very happy about.
Well, you sounded a little bit like Keith Jackson reading off Bo Jackson. Bullpen has been great all year long. Never better than last night, and that deserves a big old Hornetty.
All right, let's hope this one doesn't take 14 innings tonight. We're going to start out in the 70s. Beautiful weather this evening, a little warmer for the first pitch, down to 70 by the 7th inning, and into the 60s by the final out with clear skies. Enjoy the game right here on Fox Sports Ohio.
Well, a huge part of that game last night, and a huge part of this Reds team all year long, Chris, the bullpen.
Any way you cut it. I mean, you can look up and down these stat sheets any way, and this Reds bullpen stands by itself as the best bullpen in the National League, bar none. By the way, the Pittsburgh Pirates are second, but the Reds have allowed 114 earned runs. The next best team is the Pirates. They've allowed 141 earned runs. So that's how airtight this bullpen has been for Dusty Baker all year long.
Mike Leake hoping to be airtight tonight. First pitch against Kevin Correa and the Pirates is right around the corner. Ballpark, game 2 of this 3-game series, and Clint Hurdle's starting lineup reads as follows. Brock Holt again at the top, Alex Presley in left, Andrew McCutchen in center. Garrett Jones, Pedro Alvarez, Jose Tabata in the middle. Mike McHenry starts behind the plate, Clint Marvis in short. Kevin Correa, a 10-game winner so far this year, on the mound. 7, the number of wins for Reds right-hander Mike Leake, against 9 losses so far this season.
Well, Mike Leake, 24 years old. He's already had more starts this year than he has ever had in his major league career. His first year, 2010, they shut him down after 22 starts. Last year, he had 26. Now he's already making his 28th start. So for 24 years old, making his 77th major league start, he's had a pretty good jump as a young pitcher out there in major league experience. Now there's something going on. I'm not sure if it's with the pitching mound.
I believe there is a baseball in the berm area up there in the deepest part of right center field, or there is something, perhaps that piece of paper, where it could bother the hitter with a ball coming out of the hand of Mike Leake. That's a guess, but they were looking out that way. And that gives us a chance to tell you that Cincinnati Reds baseball right here on Fox Sports Ohio is brought to you by the 2012 Ford F-150 Motor Trend Truck of the Year. By the Regional Tourism Network, let us be your travel guide to Cincinnati, USA. Visit CincinnatiUSA.com. And by Skyline Chili, game time is Skyline time. Stop by your favorite Skyline Chili tonight. Our feathered friends enjoying a beautiful night as well. I don't know if that is the problem. Like I said, that was a straight guess.
It's like a major problem to me.
Tell you about the Reds on defense tonight before we get underway. Presented by your Ford dealers. Ludwig, Stubbs, and Bruce in the outfield. Rolling back in the lineup at third base. Valdez again at short for Cozart. Brandon and Votto on the right side with a battery of Leak and Deoner Navarro. Well, the Reds picked up games on the two teams directly behind them in the standings in the National League Central with a win here last night, extending their lead to 12 over the Pirates. And the Cardinals lost out west to San Diego. So, Chris, 9.5 to spread now in the NL Central, meaning the Reds' magic number to clinch is down to 12.
Well, with 20 games to go, you got to figure that it's a matter of time. You just don't know when it is. I'm sure that Dusty Baker, you know, he gave me a to-do list a little while ago. That was the first thing on it, which was clinch and then give some rest to the weary, and he's certainly doing that, resting Todd Frazier tonight. And then, of course, it's getting it all set up, getting some momentum going into the playoffs. But looks like Napkin in center field, berm or not, they're going to get the game underway.
Shows you what I know. But that is par for the course. Ball one to Brock Holden. We're underway. Jerry Davis, the crew chief, calls the balls and strikes tonight. Manny Gonzalez at first, Greg Gibson at second, and Phil Cuzzy down at third. It's 1-1 on Holt, playing in his 10th game since being brought up when the rosters expanded. And a good start for him. 13 hits, 36 at bats. 2 balls and a strike. Pull to Joey Votto, and he will feed the covering Leak, and that takes care of Holt to begin the game. If you're wondering about the delay, we were just told that apparently one of the light towers had not clicked fully on yet, so they were waiting for that to happen. And while it's still getting warmed up, they decided to get started. And that would be the one. Alex Presley at .234, 8 home runs, 19 batted in.
Our apologies then to that misplaced napkin out there in the center field berm. Did not delay the game after all.
In a very not so subtle way, did you just again kick me in front of the bus?
Absolutely. Wouldn't do that. You're my partner. You're going to be with me all night long, just like last night.
Foul out of play, 1-2 on Presley. Because you have been known to do that from time to time.
Only when you're needed to do that. I mean, occasionally.
Hey, I'm all in on that.
Get you going, you know?
No doubt.
Some guys need to be coddled, the others need to be pushed under the bus from time to time. And you can take it. Because you dish it out.
I do like dishing it out, and I do like taking it. So we'll keep that in mind here for the final 3 weeks of the season.
Nice.
You have one coming anyway, if I remember correctly.
At least one.
Now the 2-2 on Presley, and that's in the air down the left field line. They have him shaded that way, but this one in amongst the fans. And that young man brought his glove, and how about that? A high five from Dad, a high five from a neighbor, and a souvenir on the way home tonight. Well done. Nice.
That's actually a pretty good place to catch foul balls. We see a lot of them going down there, both lines, left and right. Just curving right into the stands. You bring your glove down there, you get a chance to kind of get ready for it.
Three and 2 now to Presley. Just underway. And glad to have you with us on this Tuesday night. A bow tie Tuesday night, Mr. Welsh. You look very dapper.
Thank you.
Reds got a win last Tuesday, you may remember. That's when we had our friend Dr. Gordon Gee, president of the Ohio State University, with us. And there's a blast into deep right center field, and Presley is homered way back. His 9th of the year, and it gives the Pirates a 1-0 advantage.
Well, that was a no-doubter right there. You could hear it hit the bat. It sounded so good. It had a great trajectory, and it was not coming back. Pretty much a fastball right down the middle, and that's where Mike Leake cannot afford to live right there. Slow motion look at that home run swing by Alex Presley, brought to you by Performance Honda.
Well, the Pirates got out in front last night. They scored 3 times against Matt Latos in the 4th inning. Reds got one back in the bottom of the inning, tied it on the 2-out 2-run double by Deanna Navarro in the 7th inning. And then we played and played and played, and both teams had multiple chances. The Reds more than the Pirates. But the Pirates had the best chance of them all in the 14th inning. Well, they had the bases loaded, nobody out. But Alfredo Simon took care of business shortly thereafter. Got a pop-up, got a ground ball to Votto, forced a runner out at home, and then a ground ball ended the inning before the dramatic finish on a base hit by Ryan Ludwig. 1-2 on Andrew McCutchen. Struck him out swinging, 2 gone.
What they've been trying to do with Andrew McCutchen, the Reds, as a team, and they've done pretty well overall, is simply pitch him outside, preferably downstairs. That was a cutter running away from him, and take a lot of his power away when you hit that ball right in a corner or just off the outside corner of the plate.
Garrett Jones, a cleanup batter and first baseman, having a rock solid year. 284 hitter, 23 home runs, 75 runs batted in.
Tom, you bring up Bowtie Tuesday, and tonight I'd like to thank a young man. I know you've met him and probably signed an autograph for him outside the players' entrance to the ballpark. Brenton Greathouse.
Yep.
Young man had a broken arm for a long time.
Sure.
Big fan of Bowtie Tuesday. So Brenton, thank you very much for that gift of a bow tie. Or tonight, I've already got a compliment from my main man Tom Brenneman. So nice choice.
Well, you really look sharp tonight. And I'm not saying that tongue in cheek. You know when I'm serious, and you know when I'm just trying to, rattle the chain a little bit. 0-2 on Garrett Jones. Home run here in the inning by Presley. And that one hooked down the right field line. This will go for extra bases. The 26th 2-base hit of the year for Garrett Jones.
Well, unlike some of the Reds pitchers, Mike Leake has not fared all that well against this Pittsburgh team, either this year or in his career. A hanging breaking ball right there. Anything above the thighs and when it has got a wrinkle on it is not going to break. It's kind of going to roll up to the plate. And Jones rippets it down the right field line. He's pitched against him 3 times this year. Not really a good game in all of them. Average game back in May.
That one is just fouled down the right field line off the bat of Alvarez.
But in his career, Mike Leake has faced the Pirates 9 games, and his career record is 1-3. He's had some good games early on where he didn't give up very many runs, but he just had a hard time figuring out a way to get wins against this Pirate ball club. And the other thing to consider as you watch Leake pitch is that he knows the clock is ticking, and the evaluators are watching, and he would like to be on the postseason roster as the number 4 pitcher of the rotation. He and Mo Homer Bailey are kind of on a month-long audition right now. So he'd love to tighten it up and make that decision a very tough one to make.
Any team that reaches the postseason, oftentimes it's talked about just needing 3 starters. It's been proven year after year after year, outside of an example here or there, where maybe a team sweeps somebody in the division series and is able then to reload their rotation and maybe a shortened league championship series. But you're going to need 4. Homer Bailey, you may remember back in 2010, followed Johnny Cueto's outstanding Game 3 outing. Cueto only allowed 1 run, but the Reds didn't score against Cole Hamels. Bailey came behind him and pitched 2 innings of 2-hit shutout baseball. That ball scalded off the bat of Alvarez, but right at Stubbs. Damage done on the Presley home run. So now the Reds get a look at Correa as they bat in the bottom of the inning. Here's Dusty Baker's starting lineup tonight. Brandon Phillips, Drew Stubbs, Joey Votto, Ryan Ludwig in left field. Last night's hero, Jay Bruce in right. Scotty Rowland back in there at third. A latter third of Navarro. Valdez for the still ailing Zach Cozart at short, and Mike Leake on the mound. Correa 4 games out of the bullpen. Tonight is 24th start of the year and a 10-game winner.
Well, the last few weeks he's been kind of alternating between the bullpen and the starting rotation. He did get a start last week. That was against the Astros. Pitched 6 innings of 1-run baseball. One of these guys whose peripheral numbers don't look all that good, but he has beaten the Reds 7 of 9 times he's been out there to get a decision.
And just like that, we're tied on the first pitch. He lets go. Home run number 17 for Brandon Phillips.
Boy, pretty much right down the heart of the plate with a fastball that was meant to be on a lower outer part of the dish. Line drive home run by the former number 4 hitter, the former number 3 hitter, and now the Reds leadoff hitter.
Third career leadoff home run for Brandon Phillips. And now Drew Stubbs' first pitch swinging in the air, and this appears to be playable, but just beyond the reach of Garrett Jones. Five home runs this year, Correa, in his 12+ innings pitched against the Reds. On the ground to the shortstop Barmes, and he throws out Stubbs, 1 away. Pirates on defense, presented by your Ford dealer. McCutchen flanked by Presley and Tobiton. Same infield we saw here last night. McHenry starts in place of Barajas behind the plate. Joey Votto at .342, 14 home runs, 49 runs batted in. Votto on base 3 times last night and 1 hit. Well, you look over across the river into Kentucky, still sunshine through the rolling hills of the Commonwealth. Weather is just spectacular, and that's pretty country over there. Your neck of the woods, Mr. Welsh.
Very pretty time of year right now. The weather begins to cool off. Pretty soon the leaves will be turning colors, falling off the trees.
And the Reds appear to be on their way to a red October.
Nice.
And don't forget, play along with Fox Sports Ohio. We'll close it out at the top of the second inning. So log on right now, foxsportsohio.com. Click on Play Along and watch the rest of the game to see how well you do. We'll have your bonus question in the bottom of the fifth inning. One in, one on, one out. And here's Ryan Ludwig. Had to feel good for Ludwig. We talk all the time about how delightful he has been down in the Reds clubhouse and to be around on a daily basis. Last night he had the big chance in the 10th inning with the bases loaded and one out. Hit the ground ball to first, forcing out the runner at home. Then with 2 outs in the 14th inning, he got another shot and made the most of it, driving in the game-winning run. We discuss it frequently, you know, Chris. This is a team full of really good guys. And Ludwig, I tell you, in all the years that you've been around, can't speak for you, but the 25 years I've been fortunate enough to do this job, this is one of the truly great guys.
Really, up and down the entire roster. I mean, there's not one guy that is not as a bad guy. And I think that when Walt Jocketty goes out and he signs a player, I think that is a very important piece of a player, is the kind of a makeup he is, what it's going to do to the ball club. Same can be said for Sean Marshall when they went out and traded him from Chicago. Sure. I mean, guys that you've played against and you've seen on other teams, but you don't appreciate them until they're on your ball club.
He bangs that one into center field. Votto will advance 90 feet. 4 have come to the plate. 3 have reached. 2 on for Jay Bruce.
Now, I can tell you one thing about Kevin Correa tonight. He is having a hard time throwing the ball where he wants to. He missed badly in the at-bat to Joey Votto. Was trying to throw his changeups down and away. Had no clue as to where it was going. He's missed with his fastball location. That ball's right down Broadway, and Ludwig hits it right back through the box.
Strike 1 on Jay Bruce. Yesterday named the National League's Player of the Week. Second time he won it this year. Drove in 9 of the Reds' 15 runs. Actually shared the honor this week with Florida right-hander Ricky Nolasco. And Jay quickly behind Correa at 0-2. Jay a hitless game. Last night he did reach twice and scored a run. One ball, 2 strikes on Jay Bruce. Votto the go-ahead run at second. Ludwig on at first. And here it comes. And it's hit off the end of the bat foul. He was lucky to get a piece of that. Jay gone swinging, and that's out number 2 in the inning.
Now that's a curveball. He's got a curveball, a slider, and then he also has a changeup that'll throw all off-speed pitches. That slider is really more like a cutter for Correa. But he needed a big pitch right there against a left-hander who's been very hot, and he comes up with a good one. Good to see Roland back.
Well, he told Jeff Piccolo last night late in the game after Roland had learned that Dusty Baker was asking Bronson Arroyo to get ready for a potential pinch hitting role. The same thing for Homer Bailey. And Roland told Dusty Baker and later told Jeff Piccolo, said, look, I'll come up there and hit. I can't play the field yet, but I can hit. Swung on and fouled out of play. It's the first time in the last 6 games that Roland has been in the lineup with a back injury. Off the other way towards the seats and out of play. It remains 0-2 on Scott Rolen. Roland's such a big part of the offense. When Joey Votto went down, that was roughly about the time Scott was able to get back into the lineup. And before this recent run of sitting down and watching, Roland had played in 33 games in Votto's absence. Hit .312 and knocked in 15 runs. See his numbers with runners in scoring position. He has 2 on and stays alive in the at-bat. Alex Presley, a home run in the top of the first. Brandon Phillips ties it on the first pitch in the bottom of the inning, and now 2 are on with 2 out. And it's a ball and 2 strikes on Roland.
Well, as you watch Kevin Correa pitch, one thing that you will notice is the fact that he will not usually throw a lot of pitches in one inning. Now he's up to 21 already this inning, which is way above his average. He's right at 15 per inning, which makes some sense with him because he's not a high strikeout pitcher. He's only struck out 55 batters, 66 batters now with the one to Jay Bruce in over 140 innings. So he's a contact pitcher, and he'd like to get you out in 3 pitches or less.
1-2 to Roland. And a good eye again to even the count.
But he's nibbling around a little bit more tonight than he normally does.
Where Roland so many times throughout his outstanding career, 2 strikes and an at bat, get the count back in his favor, back to even, and then whack one into right field. And that one just off the plate, full count. Votto will start at second base. Likewise for Ryan Ludwig at first. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out, 1-1 game, and here's a payoff pitch. Foul out of play. So pitch number 9 is coming down. This is back to Scott Rolen. Well, he hit it to the right side, but on the ground right at the second baseman Holt, and that is that. But the Reds get a game-tying home run from Brandon Phillips, and at the end of 1, we're tied at 1. Elk and Elk Serious Lawyers for serious injuries. Call 1-800-ELK-OHIO. Chris, this wild card race is indeed becoming extremely wild.
Oh, you're not kidding about that. All of a sudden, you got the two teams at the very bottom playing maybe the hottest baseball of anybody out there. And that would be the Milwaukee Brewers and the Philadelphia Phillies.
Those two teams, and we'll put it back up for you. And bear in mind, again, it's brand new to everybody. So when you look at this, remember now, the way it stands right now, Atlanta has a significant lead over the second place wild card spot. That's a 5.5 game lead. So, you know, everybody else is trailing St. Louis. So one game of the Dodgers, these Pirates at 2.5, the streaking Brewers in Philadelphia at 5 back. But, you know, the Reds found out, the Pirates found out who you play. Nothing's a given. Pirates swept over the weekend by the Cubs. The Reds lost 2 out of 3 over the weekend against the Astros. But, Chris, when you take a look at the schedule of some of these teams, Philadelphia has 6 games left with the Nationals. They have 3 games left with Atlanta. The Dodgers still have to play St. Louis 4 times. The Dodgers still have to play the Reds and the Nationals in 3-game series.
East Coast trip, which is never easy for the Dodgers.
Broken bat roller down to third. So the common theme, besides what's going on in the wild card, Chris, is what's going on for the #1 seed. You have the Washington Nationals schedule there in front of you. The Reds are by no means out of that top spot, or at least having a chance to become the #1 seed.
Well, right now they're, what, 2.5 back at that top spot. But Washington plays 3 with Atlanta. Then they play the Dodgers. They play Milwaukee, Philadelphia, and St. Louis. Every one of those teams considers themselves a playoff contender. I think the dark horse in this whole thing, if you want to pick a team at this point, 20 games left, who's 5 games back and still has a number of teams ahead of them, you look at the Milwaukee Brewers. They finish their series with the Mets. Then they go to the Pirates, the Nationals, and then here in Cincinnati. And then they finish the season 6 straight against the Astros and San Diego in Milwaukee, where you know the Brewers play very good baseball right there in that ballpark. So this extra playoff team, whose ever idea was, that part of it was a real good one.
Real good one. I mean, because look, you're talking about cities like Pittsburgh, Milwaukee, Philadelphia, Los Angeles, obviously St. Louis and Atlanta. All of those towns, St. Louis in this case more than Atlanta, still have more than just a fighting chance to get into the postseason. Two and two to count on Barmes. Fouled out of play.
Well, one thing for certain, our pregame guys, Jeff McCorrow and Jim Day.
Yes.
During the pregame show, Reds Live, we're going to update you every day about the wild card, who they're playing, what teams are hot, who's not. We'll bring you up to date during the ball game, what the key games are going on during the, you know, around the league. It's worthwhile watching.
We know Jim Day and Jeff McCorrow will be all over it. And you'll be a big part of that on Reds Live, the pregame and the postgame versions as well, Chris Welsh. Breaking it all down.
Thank you. I'm looking forward to each and every report, even the checklist.
Two-out single by Barmes and his Correa. 1-1 game after a pair of ground outs. Leake allows a 2-out single and the pitcher bats. Correa 5 of 36. Does not have an extra base hit nor a run batted in. Over in the American League, 3 huge series are being played on this Tuesday night. One of them already underway, being Tampa Bay and Baltimore. Leak will get to it. Plants, throws, inning over. A hit, a man left. We'll keep you up to date on what's going on in the American League. We'll have a report later on that from Jim Day.
Same velocity all the time. So, yeah, I mean, I think, talked to Dr. Krimchek, talked to our medical staff, our trainers, and they just said that he's a bit fatigued. And, we're lucky we got to this point. Guy throws 100 miles an hour, you're going to, fatigue something sooner or later. He's reaching a plateau he hadn't reached before.
And that was Dusty Baker before today's game, giving us a prognosis on Aroldis Chapman. Last two outings, the velocity has been down. Particularly, we noticed that there was a problem last night. But the good news is I asked Aroldis Chapman, talked to him before the game through an interpreter, and he was asked, is there any pain in that arm? And he said no. Then he paused and he said, thank God. Also asked him how long of a rest does he think he needs. He says 5 to 7 days. So the Reds are going to be without at least their #1 closer for about a week. But the good news, just arm fatigue and not anything structural.
Jim, great stuff. Chris, does that surprise you? It can happen to a pitcher, especially a reliever this far into a season?
Not at all. Not at all, especially a guy that hasn't been in that spot used the way he has previously in his career. I mean, it could be fatigue from a physical standpoint, and probably is, but also mental fatigue. I mean, night after night, this ball club plays so many tight games, you don't know whether you're going to be in a ball game or not. You get up, you get hot, you're just in the event that it is a save opportunity. You just go back to it and realize this is what he did last year, and then this year, number of games, more this year, more innings, more high pressure situations, more strikeouts, more pitches thrown. I mean, you just go back though, and you've got a 9-game lead. So you miss your closer for 5 to 7 days. It's no big deal.
You know, you look at the Reds this season, and backing up just from a number standpoint, Chris, what you're talking about, if you just consider games decided by 2 runs or less, the Reds have played a whopping 73 of those games this year. They're 142. Over half of their games have been decided by 2 runs or less. There's ball 4 to Deanna Navarro to begin the second inning.
Oh, that's a ball club that pitches well, doesn't really score a lot of runs, usually does score but late in the ball game. And Dusty Baker's got guys up and down in the bullpen. You never know who might be needed in the 7th, 8th, or 9th inning. You know, those 2-run games you mentioned, Tom, that doesn't mean that you were 2 runs up the whole game and you automatically turn it over to Broxton or you turn it over to Marshall and then Chapman. It's like down by 1, even, up by 1. You know, who's up, who's not. And the closer is the one guy who always knows he's going to be in if you get the lead in a tight game. So I think the kid could be mentally worn out as well.
So in other words, do not expect to see Aroldis Chapman the final 2 games of this series. More than likely the entire series down in Miami, and that of course is subject to change. We may not see him again until we reach Chicago the beginning of next week.
Well, just keep in mind that there are a lot of people that head to Miami for a little R&R.
Are you going to be on the Miami trip?
I am indeed. Maybe I should escort Aroldis around just to make sure he doesn't. He actually does get some R&R.
Do you suppose you could talk your employers here at Fox Sports Ohio into allowing you to be his chaperone and really to take a little time yourself for some R&R?
Maybe we could take the Fan Express.
Ooh, that'd be nice. When they're going on the pitch, they started with Mike Leake at the plate and he fouls it away.
Although Aroldis might want to drive his own ride down there.
Well, we'll take the driving out of it entirely. But
Good
having
idea.
said that, you know, load up a bus, head on down there.
I think it's a great idea. Count me in. You can throw me under that bus. I think you just did.
I tell you, I think it's a great idea too. I'm just sorry I can't join you. 0-1 the count on Lee. And it's butted foul, and it's 0-2. Starting to talk about some of those series over the American League tonight. Boy, you talk about a divisional race. In the American League East, the Yankees playing against Boston tonight. 1 game better than Baltimore, 2 games better than Tampa Bay, and the Orioles and the Rays are playing tonight, separated by 1 game in the wild card. Boy, it doesn't get much tighter than that. 0-2 on Lee. And there's that Butcher Boy play. And he singles into left field. My, can he handle the bat. He's the only pitcher I can think of, and he has more hits than any pitcher in baseball over the last 3 years. And when he falls behind 2 strikes, you feel like he still has a chance.
Well, a hanging breaking ball, but still no 2 pitch from Kevin Correa. And this is the play, especially when you've got a guy like Mike Leake that handles the bat well, you have no downside to it. Because if he fouls the ball off, you're still alive. You can put another play on. But that time he's able to bring the third baseman in, slap a ball right by him, keep the inning going, and turn the lineup over. And now Kevin Correa has to face a guy that has hit 3 home runs career-wise against him.
Including the very first pitch that Correa threw here tonight. 2 on, 1 out. And a breaking ball this time rather than the fastball. It's low and away. Brandon 17 home runs now, 73 runs batted in. And that is knocked down, but into left field it goes, and easily scoring Navarro. On to third goes Leake on a run-scoring double off the bat of Brandon Phillips, and the Reds lead 2-1.
Now the ball in the hole, you've got a double play situation so that the shortstop's a couple of steps over toward second base bag, and by the time Clint Barnes is able to get on over there, that ball's got such topspin on it, it spins off his left arm and scores a run. Ends up with runners at second and third. That's a hit all the way and an RBI for Brandon Phillips. He's got both of them.
Big chance here for Drew Stubbs. He grounded out to the shortstop his first time up. Runners at second and third, and only one out here in the Reds' second inning.
You know, I sit up there and I watch a play like that, and it was a nice effort by Clint Barmas. Went after it right, dove for it, did everything he could do. But I can't remember the last time a Reds infielder went after a ball like that and then had a ricochet off of him like that. We're just so used to seeing plays being made.
And here's another one. Pitch in the dirt, 1 run scores, and here comes Brandon, and he will score. You just got finished saying it, but boy, when you're having a big year like the Reds are having, all these kinds of plays seem to go your way. That'll be a wild pitch, allowing the first run to score, and an error on the catcher on the throw, allowing Phillips to score. How about that, man?
That's something you see in junior varsity high school baseball right there. And I'm not saying that to disparage the Pirates in any way, but the ball hit in front of home plate was almost an impossible pitch to block because it was a breaking ball. It's so far in front of the plate that you just take your chances. It bounces away from the catcher. He tries to scoop it to the pitcher covering the back. It hits the runner on the way in. I mean, just one thing monopolizing the other. It goes almost all the way into the camera well. And meanwhile, the Reds are running around the bases. You've got a very aggressive runner like Brandon Phillips. I mean, he did everything he could, McHenry right there. And here he's almost got a shot, but he goes right into the runner as Mike Leake comes in. Inadvertently kicks the ball away, and all of a sudden the Reds have 4 on the board.
So rather than second and third and 1 out, both runners score, and the at-bat to Stubbs continues, and it's high 2-1. Reds with a 3-run second to break a 1-1 game. Grounded foul and a full count on Drew Stubbs. All this began with a leadoff walk to Navarro. But certainly the biggest play of the inning was the 2-strike base hit, faking a bunt, and Leake pulling it into left field, setting the table for Phillips, who knocked in a run with a double. And the wild pitch in the air to bring in 2 more, and that's out number 2 on the ground ball to Barmas. Tonight's Ohio Lottery Mega Millions jackpot up to $120 million, and the drawing is coming up tonight at 11 o'clock. Remember those days? It's 11 o'clock. Time now for the Al Shuttlecutty News. Remember those days?
I remember the days. It's 11 o'clock. You better be home.
Strike to Joey Votto. That was the first thing I remember about moving to Cincinnati. Of all the things in the world, a lot of people in from out of town are not old enough to remember. They're going, what is this clown talking about? There's a fly ball to the left. And over to get it is Presley. And that'll end the inning.
Remember that? 11.
It's 11 o'clock. Reds lead at the end of 2, 4-1.
Welcome back to Reds baseball. The Reds 4, the Pirates 1, top of the 3rd inning. And time for our Farmers Insurance report card. Tonight on Mike Leake, the 2 counts that he ought to worry about the most: the 0-0 count, first pitch of the at bat, and the 3-1 count. Look at the batting averages against.
That's an 0-1 count on a base hit into center field by Holt.
So when you've got numbers like that that jump out at you, that's something to take care of. And obviously 3-1 count means he throws a lot of fastballs, probably up in the zone, just trying to throw a strike, not to walk a batter, and that's where you can get into problems. So a heads up report card from our Farmers Insurance people. Mike Leake.
Now Presley, who had a 3-2 pitch into the seats in deep right center field for the lone Pirate run in the opening inning. Leake has been staked to a 3-run lead, taking the mound here in the 3rd inning. One of the things I remember like it was yesterday, Chris, you brought it up. You and I were having a conversation at a spring training game out in Arizona back in the month of March. And as you and I were sitting down to talk about previewing the National League Central and previewing the Reds in 2012, you talked about how, looking at their starting rotation outside of Bronson Arroyo and Matt Latos, the 2 pitchers in this rotation that had reached 200 innings in a season, the other 3, Cueto, Homer Bailey, and Mike Leake, had not. And you thought this would be the year where all 3 of those guys would need to start piling up the innings, quality innings. This could be 2. They get 1. Valdez turns it, and that's a double play. And as we move along into this season, it is interesting to note that the 2 best Reds pitchers at this time of the year here in September have been, without a doubt, Latos and Arroyo. And I'm talking about of late. Their last 3 or 4 starts. Do you think that's coincidence?
Well, no, I don't think it's coincidence, and I think it's more of a mental adjustment that is physical. I mean, all these guys do the same workouts. They stay in shape. They come spring training in shape. None of them have had any physical setbacks all year long, but it's the ability to get out there and grind every 5th day, be expected to do so, and not start looking to the end of the season just because you're getting into the month of September. And I think that experience has helped Matt Latos and Bronson Arroyo finish very strong.
Is buy 4 view level tickets to any game during the Reds and Brewers series. That's the final home series of the year, and you get a Reds Heads Kids Club kit for all just $55. 4 tickets and the Reds Heads Kids Club kit, $50. So take advantage right now. You got to do it tonight. Visit Reds.com/FSOhio and use the password KIDCLB. KIDCLB to buy right now. But remember, the offer is only good during our game tonight. Ludwig hooks one into left field, a base hit. He's a perfect 2 for 2 tonight. Jay Bruce struck out his first time up tonight. Slow roller to second. They get one, and the throw is not in time. You may remember that's what happened last night. Bruce hit a ball that looked like it was going to be a double play ball to end the inning. He beat out the throw to first base, and the Reds wound up scoring 2 runs to tie the game in that 7th inning.
And that hustle really kept the inning alive, as you said, Tom. On this particular play, same type of play. If you want to make sure that's going to be a double play as a second baseman, you've got to be a little more aggressive in charging that baseball. I don't think, when I saw it in live action, that Ludwig was in the way of the second baseman and he was worried about getting caught up. He just kind of let that ball come to him, and if it's hit harder, it's a double play ball. If it's hit softly and you don't charge it, it will not be a double play ball.
Sinking liner into right center, caught by Tabata. And they're 2 away in the inning. Navarro led off the Reds' second inning, drawing a walk, and scored the first of their 3 runs, breaking that 1-1 tie in the inning. Navarro's done a very nice job getting a chance to play since they brought him up from the minor leagues. Perhaps not the all-star that he once was with Tampa Bay, but came to the Reds in spring training. They brought him in, figuring he would be going back to the minor leagues and try to earn a spot with a big league club sometime down the road. And Chris, so far so good.
He really has been so far so good. You know, he's a veteran player. He was signed when he was 20 years old by the New York Yankees. At least that's when he was in the major leagues, and was traded from the Yankees to the Diamondbacks in the Randy Johnson deal.
And they flipped him immediately to the Dodgers, right? Same day.
And for the Sean Green trade. The Dodgers sent him to Tampa Bay, and that's where he became an all-star. 2010, he became a free agent, and he signed again as a Los Angeles Dodgers. Then later in 2011, he was released by the Dodgers, and last January, he was signed by the Reds as kind of a backup plan. They figured that Devin Mesoraco would be the #2 guy. You need somebody down in addition to Corky Miller down in minor leagues, and a switch hitter with some big league experience, former all-star. Kind of waited and bided his time, and here he is.
Popped up short left, and that will end the inning. We have played 3 in Great American Ballpark, and the Reds lead is 3. Presented by Walgreens. Cheer on the Reds, and don't miss all the drawings for prizes throughout the game, gift cards, Reds autograph items, and so much more. And again, that is a Sunday night game. Now remember that has been changed to Sunday night, September 23rd. The schedule you have probably at home says day game, now an 8:05 night game. Under the lights, 3-1 Reds. For tickets or visit Reds.com. Fan Appreciation Night. You know, Chris, what you got to start thinking about here, and obviously Mike Leake doesn't want to talk about it. Dusty Baker doesn't want to talk about it. Walt Jocketty, Bob Castellini. Nobody wants to talk about it, but you know what everybody's talking about. Trying to figure out when the Reds might have a chance to clinch the division. And do you want to be here?
That's a good question. If I'm a Reds fan, I mean, I'll be here anyway. But you start looking at the schedule.
I mean, tonight is
Magic
game number
12,
143, right?
Okay.
Right, so they will have 19 games remaining. There's a fly ball to right off the bat of Garrett Jones. Their magic numbers down to 12. They have a 9.5 game lead. And, you know, I want to knock on wood and just start banging on my head for even talking about it. But as you get closer and closer, clearly you'd have a better idea as to when that could be. But that homestand, where the Reds have their final homestand, the only homestand left, are 3 games against the Dodgers on a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then the final 3 of the season, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, against the Milwaukee Brewers.
That's the series I'm circling right there, that Brewer series. Now, the Reds have to play very well on the road. They've got to get some cooperation out of the St. Louis Cardinals or whoever they're playing to lose some ball games. But you've got a 12 number right now, magic number.
And if I'm right, they have 19 left after tonight.
And they've got 9 games between tonight. Sorry, you got one tomorrow. Then, of course, you've got an off day. Then you've got the road trip. And you have 9 games until the Reds are back in town. And in that period of time, they might be able to make up some ground and put it within reach there to either get it against the Cardinals on that weekend series or against the Milwaukee Brewers.
Dodgers on that weekend series. Right now at FoxSportsOhio.com, Hal McCoy writes that Scott Rowland's presence in the lineup is such a key. And after last night's bad loss in Baltimore, find out why Zach Jackson believes there are reasons to smile about the battling Bengals. All that and more at FoxSportsOhio.com. Line into left and over the head of Ryan Ludwig. Off the bat at Tabata, and he has a 2-out double.
Boy, sometimes you just hit a ball so hard it just doesn't sink. I think that's what happened. Ryan Ludwig may have had a hard time picking that ball up, but I don't think it makes any difference. That ball was just smoked over his head. He hit a ball very hard like that in the left center field gap last night.
So the inning continues for Michael McHenry. He grounded out to Rowland his only time up tonight. Reds 4, Pirates 1. 4 runs, 5 hits for the Reds. 1 run, 5 hits for the Bucks. And a high fly ball that should in the inning into left center field. Stubbs waves off of Ludwig, and that's that. We played 3.5. Reds lead 4-1. Fox Sports Ohio brought to you by JTM Food Group, creating great dishes together with the food service industry for over 30 years. By your Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky Toyota dealer. Visit buyatoyota.com and by AT&T, the nation's largest 4G network. AT&T, we think possible. Well, for Red hits that Toyota sign during our game tonight. Angela Ipure of Cincinnati will win the new Tundra. Register for your chance to win. Just stop by your Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky Toyota dealer. Reds will bat here in the last of the fourth inning against Kevin Correa. They have 8, 9, and 1 in their batting order. Valdez, Leake, Phillips. And a soft liner into right field, a base hit.
Now, one of those nights for the Reds so far, it seems like everything they hit has found the hole. The base hit that went off the glove or the arm of the shortstop that Brandon Phillips hit that drove a run in, ended up with a double on a kind of an infield double. That ball off the end of the bat goes into right field, base hit. Ludwig hooks one by the third baseman, base hit. You have nights like that. They did not have an offensive night like that last night. Boy, they had a hard time getting hits, but they piled them on tonight.
So now Leake, who had that show bunt, pulled the bat back, butcher boy play, whacked it into left field, a big part of that 3-run second inning.
So what do you do if you're Pedro Alvarez, the third baseman? I mean, do you buy into it that he might be bunting here?
What do you think?
I would say yes, but down the first baseline.
You know really how to step out there. Don't hurt yourself. You know, everybody was wondering, we came back for the commercial break, there were all the fans standing and cheering. Of course, tonight being the anniversary of 9/11/2001. There are 27 brave members of our armed forces who represent those who have fought in World War II, Vietnam, Desert Storm, Iraq, and Afghanistan that the Reds brought in here tonight to say thank you.
And we thank you.
Indeed. Great stuff. We always thank every chance we get, and you should too. Those who have served, those that are serving, and those who will serve. Another RBI chance for Brandon Phillips. Runner at second, one out. He's knocked in 2 of the 4 tonight. A home run on the first pitch in the first inning, and a double off the glove of a diving Clint Barmas to knock in a run in the second. We have Navarro, or I beg your pardon, Valdez in a rundown. And they're going to tag him out, and no one's covering first, so Phillips will waltz back to the bag. Tell you what, if Tabata comes racing in from right field, as long as that rundown took, they'd have had a double play in.
Yeah, Tabata's the only guy. You may say, well, what about the catcher? Well, the catcher has to stay at home in the event that somebody throws the ball away. In this rundown, and Valdez is able to get over and around third and come to home. He's pretty elusive out there. How'd that put out go, you know?
I thought it went shortstop, second base, third base, back to the shortstop.
Okay.
And I'm being told that thumbs up. Okay. Apparently Brandon Phillips, it was reported during the pregame show, you may remember, that Brandon Phillips had a telephone conversation set up by Andrew McCutchen over all the back and forth and some of the jawing going on last night. Apparently all is okay. That's all for the Reds in the fourth. 4-1 Cincinnati. We go to inning number 5. It's Great American Ballpark this season. Penn Station East Coast subs are located near sections 130 and 414 here at the ballpark. Great subs, their authentic fresh cut fries. Our main man Jesse Jackson has them up here from time to time. 3-1 Reds. To get tickets, I'm told we're going to have some up here tomorrow night, especially for you, Mr. Wells.
Very good. I will be all over him as usual.
So here we go in the top of the 5th inning. Reds with a 4-1 lead. Marmis followed by Correa. And then Brock Holt. It's the second time Barmes has collected a base hit against Mike Lee. A single his first time and a double here.
Third double of the night for the Pirates. They've also hit a home run. Of course, that was Alex Presley.
You know, while we have a moment, we want to send out a big-time speedy recovery wish to a young man, Ryan Donahue. Recovering, we understand, from major spinal surgery over at Cincinnati Children's Hospital. He's been in and out of the hospital the last few years, and his favorite time of the day every day is when he gets to watch the Reds on television. Ryan, stay strong. God bless you, young man. Get well and get down here to see us if you can. Bunted into the mid of Navarro. One out in the inning. You know, we get these notes from time to time, and we can't do them all. Chris, I think you saw the copy on the email we got earlier today that was sent to Fox Sports Ohio. There was a fella, 49 years old, his brother 45, was in the hospital early this year with cancer. They weren't sure he was ever going to make it. Huge Reds fan. And you and I wished him a speedy recovery one night. He was watching the game in the hospital where he spent the next 2.5 months in and out, chemo, radiation, all the terrible things associated with that terrible disease. Well, we got a note from the older brother today. And boy, when we get these letters, I can't begin to tell you how much we appreciate you writing back. It's one thing for you to ask us to do it and then to write back and say thanks. But when you write back and tell us that your brother is cancer free and he's at the game tonight,
that's huge. That is so great.
We can't thank you enough for sending that letter. They weren't sure that his younger brother was ever going to come to a Reds game again. Great stuff. Well, thank God he's all right. We're wishing the same thing for Ryan Donahue. One and one meanwhile on Brock Holt. Runner at second, one out. And now 2 balls and a strike. Cardinals will be playing in about an hour and a half from now out in San Diego. Game 2 of that 3-game series. Philadelphia 5 back in a wild card, a 4-2 lead over Miami. Milwaukee 5 back in the wild card, trailing Atlanta, or leading Atlanta now 1-0 after rallying to win late last night. Two and two on Brock Holt. And hooked into right field, a base hit there, going to hold the runner at third. Oh, quick flip there, and they got him. What a play! What a play! What a play! And Brandon Phillips, Johnny on the spot per usual.
Well, Brandon Phillips has been a one-man demolition crew to the Pirates tonight. started off the bottom of the first inning with a home run. He's knocked in another run with an infield double. He's already made one nice play, and here he makes a dandy heads-up play, sneaking in behind the runner. Backhanded flip by Joey Votto. Young Brock Holt, you're going to school, courtesy of Brandon Phillips and Joey Votto. Man, oh man, that is heads-up baseball.
Well, I mean, in every way imaginable, it can be played on defense. The base hit into right. Bruce charges the ball. Perfect throw to the cutoff man. Phillips coming in behind the runner. Votto alertly recognizing the situation. The backhand feed. Runner out.
And it happened so quickly that the runner at third can't advance. And you're going to strand him out there.
How about that? Reds defense all season long on top of their game.
Over during tonight's game only. Fox Sports Ohio is taking over the Reds ticket office and has an unbelievable offer for you. Buy 4 view-level tickets to any game during the Reds versus Brewers series September 25th through the 27th and receive a Reds Heads Kids Club kit, all for just $55. It's a package valued at $85. Here's what you do. You visit reds.com/FSOhio. Use the password KIDCLB. That's password KIDCLB to buy now. But remember, the offer is only good during tonight's game. And as we go back to the booth, boys, you talked about it. That series might be clinch time. So get those tickets. An unbelievable offer. Ticket office takeover.
Really is an unbelievable offer. Jim Day, thank you very much. We begin the 5th inning. And Joey Votto lifts a fly ball down the left field line, bending out of play, and it's 1-1 on Votto. Reds 4, Pirates 1. All the scoring in the first 2 innings of this one. Pirates a home run by Alex Presley. Phillips a home run on the first pitch by Correa in the bottom of the inning. And the Reds got a walk to Navarro, a single by Leak with 1 out, RBI double by Phillips. And on a wild pitch that brought in 1 run, and a throwing error allowed a second run to score on the wild pitch. 3-1 on Votto, who has walked and flied to left. Started to pull the trigger and laid off. 3-2. There's a rocket right at the third baseman Alvarez to begin the inning. What city was named one of the top 3 places to visit in 2012? That's right, Cincinnati. Book your weekend getaway at CincinnatiUSA.com. Great time of the year to come in the fall. And hoping for a lengthy run for fall baseball here in Cincinnati. Ball one high to Ryan Ludwig, a perfect 2 for 2 tonight. Single to center, single to left. One and 2 to Ludwig. One two on the way. And it's off the outside corner. Lifted to Tabata in right field. 2 up, 2 down here in the Reds' 5th. Jay Bruce 0 for 2 has bounced into a fielder's choice. That was in the 3rd after striking out his first time up in the opening inning. 2 balls and no strikes. Reds able to get Roland back on the field and back in the lineup for the first time in nearly a week tonight. And they're hoping it won't be much longer for Zach Kozart. Although, Chris, you touched on it a little bit last night. That can be an injury that lingers around for a while.
Yeah, and it's only the player that can tell you when he's ready to go, because everyone has a different severity.
Hit hard, but right at Jones, and that'll end the inning. 1, 2, 3 go the Reds for the first time tonight. We played 5, and the Reds lead 4-1. leader in hits, which takes us directly into our AT&T trivia question tonight. Who was the last Pirate to lead the National League in base hits? Good question. Well, they have had a pile of really good hitters through the history of the Pirates franchise. Obviously, in recent times, been pretty lean. But man, going all the way back to the very start of the organization. You look at some of those clubs in the 1970s. We know about the great Dave Parker, native Cincinnati. In fact, I believe he's here at the game tonight signing autographs, if I'm not mistaken.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
What a funny teammate he was. You talk about an intimidating hitter. Oh, man. Remember when he broke his jaw?
Yeah.
And they fitted his baseball helmet with like a football mask or a half of a football mask? He come roaring around third base with his eyes on that catcher. Look out.
Yeah, he was over at the Hall of Fame and Reds Hall of Fame and Museum from 5:30 to 7 o'clock earlier tonight. High fly ball into deep right center field, but room for Stubbs, and that's the way we start in the 6th inning. You know, the Major League Baseball 2013 schedule is going to be released tomorrow. And it's already been widely reported about who the Reds are going to open the season against next year. The Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. But the rest of the 2013 schedule will come out. Can't wait to get a look at that.
Well, those that have had a look at it, and I have not, but have told me that the Reds will be playing the Houston Astros in Houston next year. Of course, they'll be a member of the American League West.
Right. That's why that's going to happen. The Reds will be playing the AL West during interleague play next year. There's really not been a whole lot of rhyme nor reason for the Reds playing in a 6-team division over the last number of years. I mean, you look at this year. I mean, they play the Yankees. They play the Tigers. Played a couple of other American League Central Division teams. Twins were in earlier this summer. Of course, a home and home with Cleveland. That ball's in the air in a deep left center field. And Ludwig tracks it down. 2 are out. Well, if you are playing along with us during the game tonight, go to foxsportsohio.com right now and choose how many extra base hits both teams will combine for in the 8th inning. That's our question. And if you're not playing along, make sure you join us every Tuesday night by logging on to foxsportsohio.com. Winners, by the way, will be announced in tonight's postgame show. Straight up in the air in a 1-2-3 inning. It could be for Leake, and it is. Bottom of the 6th, still a 4-1 Cincinnati lead. Holy Grail is tonight's special guest on the Fan Express to Reds Country. For more information how you and your group can get on the Fox Sports Ohio Fan Express, 765-7600 in the 513 area code, or visit reds.com/fan express. Those are the guys that came in just before game time. The airborne crew able to stick around for the game. Love watching those guys be able to land almost on a dime. Here they were coming in.
Amazing. Right on target.
And right on schedule. Roland pops it up to begin the bottom of the 6th inning, and that's easy for McCutchen. 1 out. Now Deanna Navarro, he's walked, scored, and popped up to Presley in short left field. Day game tomorrow. Homer Bailey on the mound against her night game. I beg your pardon again. Homer Bailey against A.J. Burnett. Reds live 6:30 tomorrow night. First pitch 7:10. Tickets are available. Why not come on down? Our weather for the foreseeable future. Expected to be just like today and tonight. Perfect. Correa gave up 1 in the first. He gave up 3 in the second. He's only allowed 2 hits ever since. Reds are batting here in the last of the 6th inning with 1 out and nobody on, and swung on and fouled back out of play off the bat of Navarro. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Well, he's kind of the victim of some bad luck. Correa has. He made a very bad pitch to Phillips, obviously, then walked the batter in the 2nd inning to get it all going. But that infield double that Brandon Phillips hit, if shortstop playing a step or 2 to his right, that could have been a double play ball instead of a run scoring double. He's had some shoddy defense behind him. That one play where they all scored on the wild pitch was kind of a crazy looking play. But he has settled down and thrown nothing but zeros up there the last 4 innings.
Good breaking ball there. Strike 3 called. Second strikeout tonight for Correa.
As I said at the onset, Kevin Correa really doesn't strike out that many. You see that breaking ball that he throws is kind of a roller rather than one that really snaps. Doesn't get a lot of swings and misses with it, but if he plants it right on the outside corner, sometimes he'll get a strikeout looking.
Wilson Valdez 1 up 2 in the game. Got a base hit into right field his last time up, then some sloppy base running on a ground ball with him at second base, hit right in front of him to the shortstop, who turned around and threw him out at second. Try that fastball in the outside corner and a little bit too low. Count even on Valdez. 2 balls, 2 strikes. 2 down, none on. Correa finally okays a sign with McHenry and tries a breaking ball, and that misses as well. Full count. Lee gave up the home run to Presley in the opening inning. He has given up 7 hits in the game, but only 1 run. A 3-run lead here in the bottom of the 6th inning, and that's a 2-out walk to the number 8 hitter Valdez.
Boy, that's the kind of walk that just kills you as a pitcher. You've got the number 8 hitter up there. You got ahead of him early in the count. You want to start the next inning with the pitcher leading the inning off, and you walk the number 8 guy. Now you've got something going on, and now they're going to rattle around some pitchers in that Pirate bullpen. This is a big game for the Pittsburgh Pirates. Remember this series, they have lost out 4 games in a row, the Pirates have. And believe it or not, they're only 4 games over 500, despite the fact that they were streaking right along game by game with the Reds for such a long time this season.
We'll get ready for Reds action 30 minutes before every game. We call it Reds Live, presented by Ray St. Clair Roofing, right here on Fox Sports Ohio. Chris will have a return of the checklist tomorrow night. Finale of the series, and then get you revved up again starting Friday night from Miami. Mike Leake a single, a run scored, is put down a sacrifice bunt. Oh, and 1 account on Leake. Talked about it last night. You consider the Pirates over their last 40 games have only won 14 times. 14-26 since they last had a 4-game winning streak at the end of July. Mike Leake drops one into left field, his second base hit tonight. And you got to wonder if that's going to be all for Kevin Correa, with Brandon Phillips coming up. Well, you know, to finish the thought, is Clint Hurdle is pacing around in that dugout. Doesn't look like he's coming out to make a change. You go 14-26. You better be on your hands and knees and saying plenty of thanks that you're only 2.5 games out of the wild card.
Oh, you're right about that.
This goes to show you the way that, not so much Atlanta, because Atlanta's had such a big lead over what will turn out to be the second wild card team. But among that next group, as Phillips fouls it away, of the Cardinals and the Dodgers primarily, they've stumbled along as well when they've had a chance to open up some daylight in that wild card, and it's given hopes to the Philadelphia Phillies and the Milwaukee Brewers, both of which, by the way, are leading their games tonight. 0-1 on Phillips. 2 on, 2 out. Got it off the end of the bat. Still carried a long way, but didn't get it. And that'll retire to center. A hit, 2 left. We go to the 7th. Reds lead 4-1. Fun night at the ballpark so far. Reds 4 and the Pirates 1. Tabata, McHenry, Barmes against Mike Leake here in the 7th inning. Tabata has bounced out to Brandon Phillips and hit a rocket off the left field wall for a 2-base hit his last time up in the 4th inning. Been a very odd season in so many ways for Mike Leake. You go back and look at the month of July. I think the easy thing for a lot of people to say is, this guy's really had a hard time since the All-Star break. That is not necessarily the truth. He has been inconsistent. But you go back to starting even in August. 6 innings, 4 runs, 6 innings, 3 runs, complete game. Gave up 1 run to beat the Mets. Had the horrible game against Philadelphia. In fact, he's had 2 of those that have come in his last 4 starts. But in between those 2, 6 2/3, 2 runs to beat the Cardinals, 6 innings, 2 runs to beat the Astros. It's really been about 3 or 4 starts over the course of this entire year that has inflated his earned run average to where it was coming into the game tonight, and right now sits at 4.6. I mean, most of the time this year, though, he has been a quote-unquote kind of quality start, or in that neighborhood of quality start kind of a pitcher.
Well, 12 of 23 right now for Mike Leake quality starts. Now, if you include tonight, 13 of 24, so a little bit over 50% of his starts, which puts him in the middle of the pack of Major League Baseball starters. Is he an elite top of the rotation starter? Probably not. But he's a guy that stays healthy. Normally goes deep into a ball game. And fields his position. Does all the little things to really help him.
And we've seen that here tonight. Fielded his position, has a couple of base hits. So now McHenry, the batter, with a runner at first. Now, boy, you get a 3-run lead. You hate seeing a Leake put the leadoff man aboard with a walk. And I would imagine the Reds are going to get that bullpen busy quickly.
Well, after a 14-inning game last night, though, you would like to give those guys a day off, a few of them anyway. But you certainly don't want to let this lead get out of hand.
Tell you, the way Dusty handled that bullpen last night, though, you look, Ari Dondo only pitched an inning. Marshall 2/3. Now Broxton gave you an inning and a third, but with Chapman not pitching tonight, more than likely he would be your 9th inning guy in this one should you need it, and it looks like they might need it. Walk hit to start the Pirates 7th. But everybody else. Simon pitched 1 inning. LeCure gave you an inning and a third, but heck, he didn't even break a sweat. He retired 4 guys in a row.
And you have Andrusik that did not pitch at all.
And no sooner do you say his name, Chris, he now takes his sweatshirt off and starts to throw in the Reds bullpen. Well, you take down Barmes here for Clement, and this is a double play ball all the way, and that takes care of that. Starting to say, Chris, Clint Barmes might be having a poor offensive season, but he has had a real good night tonight against Mike Leake.
Yeah, I'm not sure whether that was a situational pinch hit appearance right there by Jeff Clement, or maybe something happened to Barmes. I was 2 for 2. Maybe Clint Hurdle thought, well, the chances of you going 3 for 3 in a ball game tonight against Mike Leake aren't that good. So let's get you out of there while you have a good deal.
All right,
2 for 2.
The double play ball.
That was pretty easy.
So now Gabi Sanchez, former Marlin, came over to trade prior to the deadline this season. Will bat with a runner at third, 2 outs. Reds leading 4-1. Swinging a foul ball back out of play. Correa allows 7 hits and 4 runs in his 6 innings tonight. Walked 3, fanned 2. And now Leake a strike away, an out away from 7 strong frames. Sanchez does not chase the fastball high. 2-2. Well, you got to come after Sanchez here. To let him get on via the free pass, and again the Pirates bring the tying run to the plate. Three-2 on the way. We'll do it again. Throw him a fastball right down the middle.
Well, really on the corner right there. 2 good pitches back to back from Mike Leake. He just missed the 2-2 pitch with a slider off the plate. Had to throw a strike. He kept the ball down.
That ball is clobbered into left field on a fastball, and it's a 1-run game.
Now that one was down the middle. Boy, how big is that double
2-run home run?
Now Mike Leake just on the verge of getting out of the inning right there. Made a good pitch on the previous pitch. But that one, he just comes right up in the zone, and boy, Gabi Sanchez is just all over it. There's not enough mustard on the fastball to pitch up there.
Sixth home run this year for Sanchez. This one as a pinch hitter. And it's a 1-run game in the 7th. And it's 1-1 to Brock Holt, who is 2 out of 3 in a game.
He's had a couple of pretty good at bats. I mean, he's got a nice approach, Brock Holt does. There's a reason the guy's hitting .385, and he hit great in AAA. He's got a nice, flat, very quick swing. We haven't seen him chase too many bad pitches out of the zone. They want to try to expand the zone right here, though. You had 1 ball, 2 strikes. Maybe chase it down and away.
Well, 1-2 to count, and now time is called by Navarro. Let's talk it over with Mike Leake.
Yeah, it might be a difference of opinion right here. The last thing you want to do is you're trying to get out of the inning here. You've given up a couple of runs. So you just throw a pitch to throw one.
Well, they picked the right one. But a 2-run home run off the bench by Gabi Sanchez makes this a 1-run ball game. We're going to keep it right here for the singing, the playing of God Bless America as we remember September 11th, 2001.
Salute the men and women of our armed forces, as well as those who serve to protect in our local police and fire departments, in honor of Patriot Day and the anniversary of the tragic events of September 11th, 2001. Please help us honor these brave men and women and all our veterans of service, and welcome Jordan Woody as he performs God Bless America.
This baseball season, the Kroger Bleachers at Great American Ballpark. The Kroger Bleachers is the place to catch all the Reds action, with ticket prices starting as low as $8. And for additional savings, plan on a group saving, an outing of 25 or more. Enjoy the party with your family and your friends in the Kroger Bleachers. For tickets, call 513-381-REDS. Visit select Kroger locations or, of course, Reds.com today. New pitcher for the Pirates, right-hander Kyle McPherson, as the Reds have a 1-run lead in the bottom of the 7th inning.
Bruce Stubbs facing McPherson. Good numbers in a short period of time, 5 games spanning almost 9 full innings, and has yet to surrender an earned run. But all of a sudden, this one is tightened up. A 2-run home run off the bench by Gabi Sanchez. Stubbs, Votto, and Ludwig here in the inning. One other change for the Pirates. Jordy Mercer takes over for Barmes at shortstop after they hit for Barmes, and boy, was that a big at bat. Chris, you touched on it after the home run. That was first and second, nobody out, and they hit for Barmes, who had been 2 for 2 in the game, and Clement bounced into a double play. Stubbs pops up. He's 0 for 4 tonight. And now Votto, 0 for 2, has also drawn a walk. Boy, you gotta wonder, Chris, if we're not going to see this Kyle McPherson this time next year in that starting rotation.
Well, he made his debut earlier in the year. McPherson did. Second stint up here. He was pretty good down in Indianapolis, where he had 3 starts there and a 0.9 earned run average. He's got a nice live arm, doesn't he? I mean, he just rears back and kind of comes right at you with it. Speaking of Indianapolis, we saw Howard Kellman today. You know, the voice of the Indianapolis Indians?
Indeed.
I don't know how many years, decades, Howard Kellman has been there, but he was there when I played there in 1984.
Well, those are the guys, and I mean, look no further than Jim Kelch. I don't care what line of work you're in. Everybody's looking for that big shot. And Jim Kelch, fortunate enough to get it here with the Reds after 20 years broadcasting in Louisville, and I'd love to see Howard get that same chance. Well, he's certainly deserving of it.
2 strikes. Joey choking up a little bit.
95 gas in on his hands right there, fought it off.
That's easy gas too. I mean, some guys you look at there and they're grunting and they're groaning and they're jumping at the plate and they're just giving you the idea that they're doing everything they possibly can to throw as hard as they can. Other guys, it's just coming right out of their hands nice and smooth.
Pretty nice break, yeah.
Repeatable motion there.
Fastball away, 2-2 on Votto. Ludwig to follow. Reds 4, Pirates 3. We're in the bottom of the 7th inning.
Finally got him on a breaking ball, but let's take a look at the entire at bat. Kyle McPherson against Joey Votto, brought to you by Mazda, as we do so often. And early in the count, he really just went after him with a nice, easy fastball. Of course, that fastball, I say nice and easy, 94, 95. After about 5 pitches in, he finally drops a curveball on Votto. Votto fouls it off to stay alive. Another fastball right there, coming back with the curve. And a ground ball to the second baseman. So 2 quality major league pitches for Kyle McPherson.
Beautiful breaking ball there on a first pitch strike to Ludwig.
D. Buckler.
Came back with another breaking ball. That one missed down and in. 1-1 to Ryan Ludwig. Pirates have 2, 3, and 4 in their batting order coming up in the 8th inning. And Logan Ondrusek is armed and ready in the Cincinnati bullpen. One with 2 hits and 3 at bats tonight, and singles in the first and third innings, and flying out to shallow right in the 5th. Now the 1-2. Circling is Mercer, cuts it loose, inning over. So good work by Kyle McPherson. Sets the side down in order. All right, Presley, McCutchen, Jones coming up in a 1-run game. Subscribe to MLB.tv. Visit Reds.com to order and get mail details. MLB.tv. Baseball everywhere. Time to answer our AT&T trivia question. The last Pirates to lead the National League in base hits. We got to go way back. 1992, Andy Van Slyke. Say way back 20 years ago, but that's been a while. It's the last time the Pirates had a winning season. Andy Van Slyke. I was thinking a little further back than that. I was thinking not only Dave Parker. Remember Bill Madlock? Boy, could he hit. All right, so now it's up to the Cincinnati bullpen, which has been spectacular the entire year. 8 innings of 4-hit shutout baseball last night. But one of the guys who did not take the ball in the game, Logan Andrusik. And he'll get it tonight, trying to protect a 1-run lead. Mike Leake, 7 innings of 3-run baseball, and here's Alex Presley. He homered, getting the Pirates on the board in the opening inning. So Leake goes 7, allows 9 hits and 3 runs, including the pinch hit 2-run home run to make it a 1-run game by Gavi Sanchez. He fanned 3 and walked 1.
It's a good outing by Leake.
Yep,
I'll take that any day of the week, especially by a starter who's, you know, number 4 or 5 starter. Plus, he went 7 innings. That qualifies him for that probable win stat. You're not big on that yet, but you will be.
I'm not big on that right there. Base hit into left field, so the tying run aboard for the Pirates. A go-ahead run comes to the plate in the form of Andrew McCutchen. Well, you know what? I'm sure once I learn what that is, I'm going to buy into it, because I got to tell you, a lot of people out there aren't into the quality start. I'm big time into the quality start. I don't care what the ERA is. If you're a starting pitcher in the game of baseball today and you go 6 innings and give up 3 runs or less, you are giving your team a very good chance to win a game.
Yeah, you're right. But a quality start, if you just measure by that, you can throw 8 innings of shutout baseball and you get a quality start, and you go 6 innings of 3 runs and you get a quality start.
I understand.
So there's an inequity there.
Yes.
I think if you pitch 7 innings, that means you kept your team in the ball game for 7 full innings.
A rocket right at Jay Bruce.
Boy, he has just missed a couple of balls tonight. He hit one and pinned Drew Stubbs nearly up against the center field wall in his last at bat, and just got underneath that one. He is all over this one. And the ball just comes off a little bit on the trademark, a little bit on the hands right there, and the ball didn't go as far as he thought it might.
It's going to be all for Logan Ondrusek. He faces Presley. He faces McCutchen. You have Jones and Alvarez coming up. And he will summon the left-hander Sean Marshall. It'll be our Skyline Chili call to the bullpen. Back in a moment. USA.com. 1 on, 1 out, 1-run game. Garrett Jones coming up. Sean Marshall coming in.
Well, Sean Marshall coming in for the 2nd night in a row, and the last night when he came in, he will face the same 3 batters tonight, and he took care of them no problem. His 2/3 of an inning. Did give up a base hit. That was to the right-handed hitting Tabata. But he's got 1 out in the inning. A couple of left-handers, Garrett Jones and Pedro Alvarez, due up. Got Jones on a pop-up to the shortstop. Alvarez on a ground ball to third base. Take a couple of those right now.
High pop up on the first pitch. Right on top of the mound. And just to the third base side of it is Roland. 2 away here in the 8th inning. So 1 more big out to go for Marshall here in the 8th. And a guy who's certainly more than capable of making this a 1-run Pittsburgh lead. 0 for 3 tonight is Pedro Alvarez, but he has 27 long ones on the year.
I got to figure this has happened before, this matchup. Marshall versus Pedro Alvarez. Marshall coming from the National League Central Division Cubs, and they have, and I'll tell you what, every time that they face each other, Marshall's had the best of them. 0 for 6 with 4 punch-outs.
Marshall trying to keep on that roll against Alvarez. Black stunned. They came in on the first pitch with a fastball.
What a great pitch, though, because you know Alvarez is looking breaking ball, and you get ahead of him on a fastball, and it's probably not a pitch that you're going to throw again the rest of the at bat.
0-1 the count. Threw another fastball. That went up and away.
Well, you know, in the back of your mind, if you're Pedro Alvarez, you're thinking, when is that old loop-de-loo coming in there?
Yeah. Well, if he's a betting man, I'd have a whole lot of cash on this right here, or maybe you give him a chase.
Yeah.
A fastball up in his zone.
Morrow wants a heater upstairs. Got him across the letters. Woo! How about that?
That's just called outthinking yourself. 3 straight fastballs to Alvarez. That one had a little movement on it. Ticket office takeover. Exclusive offer starting to run out of time. You got to do it before the end of the game. 4 view level tickets to any game during the Reds Brewers at final home series, and you get a Reds Heads Kids Club kit. All that for $55. But you got to visit Reds.com/FSOhio right now. Use the password KIDCLB. Kid CLB. What a job by Sean Marshall, taking care of the left-handed batters Jones and Alvarez, sending us to the bottom of the 8th inning, and the Reds with a 1-run lead. Big shift put on defensively against Jay Bruce, and Jonathan Broxton starting to crank it up down in that Cincinnati bullpen.
Tom, we sent out some get well wishes earlier tonight. I want to send out one to Richie Hudson, veteran of the Vietnam War. His son Patrick was up here with Mike Bricker from Champions Baseball, and his son goes to Claremont Northeast High School, and his dad Richie at home under the weather, not able to make the trip out to the ballpark tonight. Richie, we wish you the best. Keep battling, and we're hoping to see you at the ballpark between now and the end of the year.
Indeed. Are you starting to hear what I'm starting to hear?
I am indeed. It's about this time, huh?
That's a base hit, unless they're putting on a shift. That's a shortstop. For a quick and delicious meal the whole family will enjoy, try JTM's beef or chicken Philly steak kits. JTM.
So what can we call that?
I don't know. We got to sit on that for a while and see if this thing really starts to take off. I got a feeling, and I could be 100% wrong. That one is in the air deep to left field. And Rowland is homer to make it a 2-run lead. Scotty Rowland rarely ever takes a hack at that first pitch, but he got what he liked.
Well, a smart bit of hitting right here. Let's make that our John Morrell hot dog play of the game. He knows that Kyle McPherson, young pitcher, has thrown everybody that he's faced a first pitch fastball. And he gets right up there in that Rowland wheelhouse, and everybody, including McPherson and Rowland, know that baby's not coming back. And a 5-3 ball game. Like it or not, it's grabbing some traction.
Well, you and I talk. I think we're both in agreement. We both liked it. Now there were some people around here that weren't all that crazy about it. I thought it was awesome. Can you imagine that sellout crowd in here getting that thing going in about the 8th inning if you're sniffing a night to clinch? Got everybody in the ballpark, and you know up and down that visitor's bench, they'll be looking at each other going, what in the world is going on around here?
It's got to have a name, though, don't you think?
Well, you know,
we can't call it the Howl. We were there for a long time over in Chicago, Tom. In fact, we just saw during our last trip there. He was there since the day I played. Ronnie Woo-Woo.
Yep.
He was still woo-woo in the Cubs, even this year.
Strike 3 on Navarro, and there are 2 outs in the inning.
This is different. This is a whole crowd kind of thing.
Well, you know what happens is you got to have some of the people that were here that aren't afraid to start it up a night later. You have to have people that were watching on television.
Correct.
That clearly were not here last night. And then you got to get other people on board to really get the thing to take off. And if people want it to take off, more power to them. I'll tell you one thing. If you and I were sitting down there in those stands, you and I would be joining.
You better believe it.
And, you know, we had our buddy last night.
There it is. He's got it going.
That young man we had on last night when they started this whole thing up as Ray Searage is going to start it up. Yeah, there you go. It's funny looking down in the crowd as Ray Searage comes out for a visit, because clearly there are some people that were here last night or saw it on television last night, and they're starting to blast it out And there are a lot of other people that are around him looking at him like, what are you doing? And then a few of them will join in, and
I like it.
love it.
It's distinctive.
Base hit in the center field by Valdez.
Been on base 3 times, Wilson has. Played some nice shortstop.
So now Xavier Paul going to come up and pinch hit for Marshall. Great job by Marshall tonight. 2/3. 1 strikeout. Came in with a tying run. Already aboard and 1 out in the inning, and retired Jones on a pop-up and fanned Alvarez on 3 straight fastballs. Which is, I mean, you talk about unlikely for Sean Marshall to come into a game and face a left-handed batter and to throw him 3 straight fastballs for the strikeout.
I'm hearing it. Hey, Tom, let's thank the Papa John's and all the folks over there at Papa John's, especially David Flanagan, who made the big-time delivery, come over here to drop all those pizzas off and feed our TV crew tonight. Yum, yum. It was delicious. And David, Papa John's, thank you very much.
Thanks, indeed. Reds 5, Pirates 3. We're in the bottom of the 8th, and Paul fouls it off out of play.
I wonder why the howl.
Now, are you calling it?
No, I'm not. I'm kind of describing it, not really calling it that. It's kind of have a name, but kind of waited until, 7th or 8th inning before it happened.
I mean, based on 2 nights now, I must say it is a later in the game kind of a thing.
Yeah. It is definitely a late night thing last night.
Oh, yeah. There is someone out there probably watching the game right now, or maybe they're here tonight, but there might be somebody watching the game right now who might have been the very first person in the stands last night to start doing this. Now, as you know, last night was Bark in the Park night.
Yeah.
So maybe it was prompted by, we sold out all the tickets for people that brought their dogs to the ballpark. We had an excess of, over 2,000 dogs here last night. Maybe that's where it started.
Well, you probably had a dog. Of all the dogs you've had, you probably had one that if you yelped a little bit or howled, you could get that dog to kind of sing along with you. And maybe they were trying to do that. Didn't Ric Flair, the wrestler, have a call similar to that? Queen City, ice cream, chili, ribs, and yo!
I say keep it rolling. Hopped up in a foul ground off the bat of Paul, and that will end the inning. But a big tack-on run. Scotty Rowland flexing his muscles in the 8th. Reds 5, Pirates 3.
Reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Cincinnati Reds.
Tonight's Ohio Lottery Mega Millions jackpot worth $120 million drawing coming up tonight at 11 o'clock. Now, Jonathan Broxton technically has been charged with a pair of blown saves, and you can get hung with one of those in the 7th inning, in the 8th inning. And that's what's been the case with Broxton since he came over from Kansas City. This will be the first time he has handed the ball in the 9th inning, trying to nail down a lead. And it's a lead of 2. Of course, he's been in this role most of his major league career, almost a handful of seasons with the Dodgers. And back in that role this year with Kansas City, where he saved 23 of 27. Quickly ahead of Tabata, 0-2. To the count, and Broxton to pause, big deep breath and bringing it, and a fastball high. Well, I am told Ozzy Osbourne once was a singer of Black Sabbath.
Yes, he was.
Jonathan Broxton's music of choice when he comes into a game out of the bullpen is a Black Sabbath classic, Iron Man. Many of you, even if you're not a Black Sabbath fan, have heard the song. The point I'm making is apparently Ozzy Osbourne has an album titled Bark at the Moon.
So are you implying that maybe Jonathan Broxton got this thing going?
Not sure.
By coming into the game yesterday?
I'm not sure. It started late in the game yesterday.
And they played his entrance music?
And did so again tonight. 2-2. Swung on and fouled out of play.
Well, maybe figuring that Aroldis Chapman was not available, those fans were sending Dusty Baker a message ahead of time before Broxton came in to
Broxton right now zeroed in on nothing but trying to nail down his 2-run lead in the 9th inning. Top of it. He followed by McHenry, and then Jordy Mercer is due up third in the inning. He's not had an at-bat tonight. Back up the middle, and it's into center field, and that's a base hit for Tabata. I tell you, we do not see the Pirates play every day, but just watching these first 2 games in the series, you can understand why they get excited about Tabata, even though this has been by and large a lost year for him when they were counting on him being an everyday player with a big league club. Well, now you got a guy who is more than capable of hurting you. 12 home runs in limited playing time for McHenry. Well, the Reds are really leaning hard on Broxton after these 2 teams went 14 here last night. Strike 1. Oh, he got a good cut at that fastball.
He likes that pitch up there, and he's got very short arms, quick bat. We've seen him get around on good fastballs before. Just based on body style, that's not a place you want to pitch him consistently.
Well, you could see him just grinding those teeth together. Realize that was one he might not get again. Hopefully will not get again.
Well, ahead 0-2, you can expand the strike zone with a couple right here, make him chase. Didn't mean to throw it there. They just overthrew it a little bit.
Two again. That's a better located fastball.
Well, you got to get extension towards home plate to get it out there. You know, Broxton likes to throw, as most relievers do, down and away to just about everybody they face, because if they give up a home run, they want the guy to earn it. They hit it the other way. It's one reason why when he sets up on that pitching rubber, he's way on the first base side of the rubber. So it's a lot easier for him to get that ball on the outer part of the plate, or even off the outer part of the plate, to a right-handed hitter.
Travis Snyder will be the pinch hitter for Mercer. Snyder coming over just before the trade deadline from Toronto. One at bat in Snyder's career against Jonathan Broxton, and that was a strikeout. Now the 0-1 pitch. Fastball misses, down and away. Very tough loss last night for Clint Hurdle's team. Came into the series 2.5 back in the wild card. They did not lose any ground in the wild card, nor obviously did they gain ground with St. Louis losing last night. Double play ball could end it. There's one. That's a double play. And the Reds have taken the first 2 games of this series. Jonathan Broxton closes it out tonight.
Why don't you just love a closer whose theme song is Iron Man? He wants that ball. He may when Aroldis Chapman comes around pitch the 8th inning, but the Reds need him now and probably for the next week. And Broxton rises to the task, and the Reds have taken the first 2 from the Pirates. And they seem to be right back on the beam.
Of course, that is the first career save for Jonathan Broxton wearing a Cincinnati Reds uniform. So that's why he wants that baseball, I would assume. So the Reds make it back-to-back wins. Phillips knocks in a couple of runs. Rolling a big tack-on home run late. And they go for the sweep tomorrow night with Homer Bailey on the mound against A.J. Burnett. Back in a moment.